Are you constantly busy, running flat out, but sometimes get that feeling, like, is my ladder leaning against the right wall?
Or maybe you've tried, all the quick fixes for challenges, personal or professional, but the same old problems just keep popping back up.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, today we're going really deep. We're diving into some profound, timeless principles. These promise more than just temporary
Right,
fixes.
they offer a fundamental shift in how you approach, well, everything, life and work.
And our main source is that absolute classic, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, plus some powerful, newer insights from his work and legacy.
Okay, so our mission for you, the listener, is to pull out the really potent nuggets here.
Kind
We want to show how these principles can be like an anchor point, especially now with everything changing so fast.
of a shortcut, really, to getting truly well-informed, equipped for real, sustained growth.
Yeah, get ready for some serious aha moments today. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Let's unpack the foundation. Character, paradigms, principles. It's really interesting how the idea of success has changed, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. If you look back, say, early 20th century, success literature was all about the character ethic.
Integrity, humility, courage, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Who you were fundamentally, your inner core. But then after World War I, there was this big shift.
Swords of personality ethics.
Precisely. Suddenly, it was all about techniques, public image, positive mental attitude, PMA, which, can seem helpful.
Right.
But often it led to these sort of superficial social band-aids, quick fixes maybe, but the underlying problems, they didn't go away. They just festered.
And that affected everything, even parenting, apparently.
Right, focusing on just managing behavior, not nurturing the core values. And you might even see that in your own life, right? Trying to change habits on the surface without digging deeper.
Yeah, I think we all fall into that trap sometimes.
Ah,
Which brings us neatly to paradigms.
paradigms.
Yeah. Our maps, basically. Our assumptions about how things work.
Mm.
And they have a huge impact on our attitudes, our behavior, often without us even noticing.
It's like Covey says, if your map of the city is wrong, you're lost, no matter how positive your attitude is.
Good point.
Think about that classic optical picture where some people see an old woman, others see a young woman.
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
Two people looking at the exact same data, but seeing totally different things. Why? Their paradigm, their mental map. It proves that, where we stand depends on where we sit.
So sometimes just shifting our lens, our paradigm, can open up whole new possibilities.
Absolutely. And that's where the principle-centered paradigm comes in.
Ah.
It's powerful stuff.
Because principles aren't just nice ideas, right? They're more like natural laws.
Exactly. Like gravity, they govern human effectiveness. They're unchanging, unarguable. Covey uses that great story of the battleship in the fog.
The one that thinks it's talking to another ship.
Yeah, and the captain keeps ordering the other ship to change course, getting more and more insistent. Finally, the reply comes back, "This is a lighthouse. Your call."
You can't argue with a lighthouse.
You can't argue with reality, with principles. Things like fairness, integrity, honesty, the absolute bedrock of trust, human dignity, service, quality, potential, growth.
So aligning our maps with these principles is way more effective than just trying to change our attitude or behavior on the surface.
Infinitely more effective.
Okay, so if we want real change, lasting change, it sounds like there are no quick fixes, no shortcuts.
None. Think about natural growth. It's always sequential. A baby has to learn to roll over before sitting up, crawl before walking, walk before running.
You can't skip steps.
You try to skip steps, you just end up frustrated and probably fall flat on your face. Same applies to learning a skill, building character, developing relationships.
Right, you can't just decide to play tennis like a pro tomorrow using only positive thinking. If you haven't put in the practice, learn the strokes.
Or try to have super effective relationships without developing emotional maturity for, patience, openness, genuinely wanting to understand the other person.
So real effectiveness, especially with character and relationships, means working through that natural process. No instant result.
Exactly. Which leads to the maturity continuum. 3 stages: dependence, independence, interdependence.
Interdependence.
Dependence is you take care of me like a child.
Right. Then independence. I can do it myself. That's a huge step, very liberating, a worthy goal.
And not the end goal.
Not the ultimate goal for effective living. That's interdependence. We can do it better together. But here's the key. You need to be independent first before you can truly be interdependent.
Okay, so understanding where you are on that path helps you figure out how to move forward.
Definitely. And tied to this is a really crucial concept, the PPC balance.
Ah, the goose and the golden egg story. I love that one. It's the perfect metaphor for effectiveness. You need to balance production, P, that's the golden eggs, the results you want, with production capability, PC. That's the goose, the asset that actually produces the results.
So are you killing the goose to get more eggs?
That's the danger. Focusing only on short-term results, the P while neglecting the long-term health of the asset, the PC. This applies everywhere.
Like in your job,
Mm.
focusing only on output, but burning yourself out.
Exactly. Or in a marriage, just focusing on the benefits you get, but not nurturing the relationship itself, the goose. Or with kids, just demanding obedience, the egg. Without investing in their training, their understanding, their sense of responsibility, the goose.
That balance is critical for long-term effectiveness, personally and professionally.
Absolutely. And it all points to this inside-out approach. Sequence matters.
Sequence matters.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, Covey actually had to rewrite parts of the book because he realized the private victories, habits 1, 2, and 3, which are about self-mastery, moving from dependence to independence, they have to come first.
Before the public victories, habits 4, 5, and 6, working with others.
Yes, you can't build effective relationships with others, interdependence, if you haven't mastered yourself first. Independence. As his son Sean Covey says, anytime you start thinking the problem is out there, that very thought is the problem.
Change starts inside. Powerful. Okay, let's dive into the habits. Habit 1, be proactive. Principles of personal vision.
This is foundational. It's about recognizing our unique human ability for self-awareness. We can actually stand apart from ourselves and observe our own thoughts and feelings.
What that gives us?
Freedom. Between what happens to us, the stimulus, and how we react to the response, there's a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response.
That reminds me of Viktor Frankl's story in the Nazi death camps.
An unimaginable situation, yet stripped of everything else, Frankl realized they couldn't take away his last of the human freedoms, the freedom to choose his attitude, his response, to find meaning even in that suffering.
So you're not just your feelings or your moods. You decide how things affect you.
Exactly. You are the programmer, not the program. This ties into the circles of concern and influence.
Right. Circle of concern is all the stuff we worry about.
But often can't do anything about. Reactive people focus there, blaming external factors.
But proactive people.
They focus their energy on their circle of influence, the things they can actually affect. Their health, their skills, their relationships, their own choices.
Like the example of the husband whose wife says, I don't love you anymore, and the advice is, love her. Love as a verb, an action, something you choose to do.
Precisely. It's about taking responsibility. Sean Covey tells a story about his dad calling him out for having a victim mentality. It was a wake-up call. Your chosen response is your greatest power.
And there's science behind this too, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Think Carol Dweck's work on fixed versus growth mindsets. A growth mindset is proactive, believing you can develop your abilities.
And Angela Duckworth's research on grit.
Absolutely. Passion and perseverance for long-term goals. That's proactivity in action. Grit is a huge predictor of success.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move to habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. Principles of personal leadership.
This habit is based on a simple principle. All things are created twice. First, there's a mental creation, then a physical creation.
Like building a house. You need the blueprint first, the mental creation before you start hammering nails, the physical creation.
Exactly. And it's the same with your life. If
Yeah.
you don't have a clear idea of your destination, the end in mind, how do you know if the steps you're taking today are moving you in the right direction?
You could end up in the activity trap.
Right. Very busy, climbing that ladder of success really fast, only to realize.
It's leaning against the wrong wall. Ouch.
To avoid that, Covey suggests a powerful exercise, the funeral visualization.
Okay, tell us about that.
Imagine you're attending your own funeral, maybe 3 years from now. Picture people there, family, friends, colleagues, community members. What would you want each of them to honestly say about you, about the life you lived, the person you were?
Wow. That's intense. But I can see how it forces you to define what's truly important.
It cuts through the noise and helps ensure your daily actions contribute meaningfully to that ultimate vision. This is really about leadership.
Leadership versus management. How does that fit?
Leadership is the first creation deciding what the end should be. Management is the second creation figuring out how to get there efficiently. Covey uses that great analogy of the jungle.
The workers cutting through the undergrowth.
Yeah, they're the managers working efficiently, sharpening machetes, setting schedules. But the leader is the one who climbs the tallest tree, surveys the whole landscape, and yells.
Wrong jungle.
Exactly. You need leadership first, especially today when the jungle changes so fast. Then management can effectively organize the journey.
So this habit is about becoming your own leader, defining your own jungle.
And recognizing you have the power to re-script yourself. Using self-awareness, imagination, and conscience, you can identify ineffective scripts you might be living by, maybe passed down through family or experiences, and rewrite them based on your deepest values.
Like Anwar Sadat in prison.
Incredible story. In solitary confinement, cell 54, he used meditation and visualization to rewrite his own script, shifting his perspective on his captors and his nation's future. That internal change eventually led to the Camp David Accords.
So you really can change.
Yeah.
Live out of imagination, not just memory.
Yes. And the most stable center for that imagination for your life isn't external things. Many people center their lives on their spouse, family, money, work, possessions, even enemies.
But those things fluctuate. They can be taken away.
Right, leading to what Covey calls phantom security. The most solid center is a principle-centered core. Principles like fairness, integrity, dignity, they don't change. They provide constant guidance, wisdom, security, and power.
And the way to solidify that is through a personal mission statement.
Yes.
It's like your personal constitution. Based on correct principles, it becomes an anchor, guiding all your decisions, big and small. Writing it involves your whole brain logic, emotion, imagination, conscience. Like Clayton Christensen deciding early on that Sundays and Saturdays were non-negotiable for family and faith, regardless of career pressures.
Or Covey's own mission to unlock human potential. Or even family mission statements. Some are long, some are short, like no empty chairs. The process itself forces you to think deeply about your priorities and align your actions with your beliefs. Companies do this too. Think IKEA or American Girl.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into habit 3. But first things first. Principles of personal management. This is where the rubber meets the road, right?
Exactly. Habit 3 is the practical fulfillment of habits 1 and 2. It's the discipline, day by day, moment by moment, of organizing and executing around your priorities, those first things you identified.
And the key tool here is the time management matrix, the 4 quadrants.
That's right. Quadrant third is urgent and important. Crises, deadlines, we have to deal with these. Quadrant third is urgent but not important. Many interruptions, some meetings, popular activities that feel pressing but don't align with our goals.
Quadrant 4th is not urgent and not important. Trivia, time wasters. We want to avoid this.
But the real heart of effective personal management is quadrant 2. Not urgent, but important.
The important stuff that doesn't shout for attention.
Exactly. Relationship building, long-range planning, preventing problems, exercise, learning, working on your mission statement. This is where true effectiveness lies.
But the challenge is, quadrant 3rd and the 3 crises and interruptions constantly try to pull us away from quadrant 2.
They do. So the key is learning to proactively schedule quadrant 2 activities and then having the discipline to say no to quadrant 3rd and 4 activities that try to encroach on that time.
Saying no can be hard.
It can, but saying yes to important quadrant 2 goals requires saying no to other, less important things. This often involves delegation, but not just any kind.
You mean stewardship delegation?
Yes, it's different from gopher delegation, where you micromanage every step, like telling your spouse exactly how to take pictures on vacation.
Well, we've been there.
Stewardship delegation focuses on results, not methods. You clarify the desired outcome, set guidelines, identify resources, establish accountability, and agree on consequences.
Like the story Covey tells about teaching his young son to take care of the yard. The goal was clear, green and clean, but the how was up to the son.
Right. It empowers the other person, fosters initiative, builds trust, and frees you up. It works with kids, employees, anyone. Think of Captain Denny Flanagan, the airline pilot who proactively orders pizza for delayed passengers. He's focusing on the result, passenger well-being, quadrant 2. Not just the procedures.
That's putting first things first, even in a chaotic environment. Okay, so habits 1, 2, and 3 are the private victories, moving us to independence. Now for the public victories, interdependence.
And the foundation for that is trust. Covey uses a brilliant metaphor, the emotional bank account.
Okay, explain that.
Think of trust in any relationship like a bank account. You make deposits through acts of courtesy, kindness, honesty, keeping commitments, showing integrity.
And withdrawals.
Breaking promises, being disrespectful, betraying trust, acting inconsistently. Just like a financial account, if you keep making withdrawals without making deposits, the balance gets low, even overdrawn.
And then the relationship suffers. Communication breaks down.
Exactly. Especially in ongoing relationships, you need constant deposits because trust can evaporate over time. Remember the father struggling to connect with his teen son after years of mostly making withdrawals? Clean your room. Turn down that music.
Yeah, the account was empty. So small, consistent deposits matter.
Hugely, like the friend taking his son to all those baseball games, not because he loved baseball, but because I like my son that much. Or the professor building the mini Great Wall of China with his son to reconnect.
What are some key deposits?
Understanding the individual, what matters to them. Keeping commitments, that's huge. Clarifying expectations, avoiding misunderstandings, showing personal integrity, being loyal to those not present, treating everyone by the same principles.
And if you make a withdrawal, which we all do sometimes.
A sincere apology is crucial, a real "I was wrong." But it has to be sincere. Repeated apologies without changing the behavior. That just makes bigger withdrawals. As Covey's son David said, "I won't forgive you because you did the same thing last week." Ouch.
Character change has to back up the words.
Absolutely. And maybe the biggest deposit of all is unconditional love, showing you value the person separate from their behavior. It gives them the freedom to act, not just react, and encourages them to live by positive principles themselves.
Building that trust account is essential for moving forward, which leads us to habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood.
This is probably the single most important principle in interpersonal communication, but it's often the hardest to practice.
Because when someone else is talking, we're usually doing what?
We're often ignoring them, pretending to listen, maybe listening selectively just for facts or attentively listening to the words, but very rarely are we practicing the fifth level, empathic listening.
Empathic listening. What does that mean exactly?
It means listening with the intent to understand. Not just hearing the words, but getting inside the other person's frame of reference, understanding their feelings, their perspective, the meaning behind their words. It's giving them psychological air.
Psychological air? I like that. Like they can finally breathe because someone truly gets it.
Precisely. Covey tells a story about a tense real estate negotiation. It was completely stuck until one negotiator stopped arguing his case and simply reflected back, empathically, what he understood the other side was feeling and needing.
And what happened?
The whole atmosphere changed. Once the other party felt truly understood, then they became open to problem solving. Because until you understand me, what you say is good and fine, but it doesn't quite pertain to me.
It's the classic principle. Diagnose before you prescribe.
Every true professional does it. A doctor needs to understand the symptoms before giving medicine. An engineer needs to understand the problem before designing a solution.
Yet in communication, we jump straight to prescribing solutions or giving advice.
All the time. Like when a kid says school is for the birds, the temptation is to lecture or dismiss. But if you first listen empathically, understand why they feel that way, you might uncover the real issue and help them find their own solution.
So understanding has to come first. You can't solve problems effectively without an accurate diagnosis.
And interestingly, recent research points to a power paradox. Leaders often gain influence because of their empathy.
But then they lose it as they gain more power.
Exactly. They stop listening as much. Empathy is a skill, a muscle you have to consciously practice, especially when you're in a position of influence.
Sean Covey's story about almost pushing his son into football comes to mind. He thought he knew best, but by stopping and really listening.
He understood his son's perspective, allowed him the choice, and actually strengthened their relationship. And sometimes, as Stephen Covey advised, you just need to let negative energy fly out open windows. Don't absorb it, don't react to it, just listen until it dissipates.
Powerful. Okay, building on understanding leads to habit 6, synergize. The principle of creative cooperation.
Synergy is where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2. It's 1 + 1 = 3 or 10 or 100.
Creating something new, something better that wasn't there before.
Exactly. It happens in nature. 2 plants growing together might improve the soil for both. 2 pieces of wood joined correctly hold more weight than they would separately. The ultimate synergy, perhaps, is a man and woman creating a child.
So in relationships or teams, synergy means
It means valuing differences, recognizing that diverse perspectives, talents, and experiences are the key ingredients for creativity and finding new, better solutions, third alternatives that go beyond just my way or your way.
like the animal school fable, where they try to make the duck swim and run and climb and fly equally well.
Right. Trying to force uniformity stifles unique strengths. Synergy celebrates differences. Think of the Google founders, Page and Brin. They apparently rarely agreed. But their different talents and perspectives were crucial to their success. They needed each other.
So synergy requires security and openness to step into that unknown creative space.
Enormous personal security. You have to be genuinely open to influence, willing to admit you don't have all the answers, and believe that together you can create something better than you could alone.
Can you give a real-world example?
Covey tells of a telecom company negotiating with a city. Instead of fighting over limited resources, win-lose, they proposed laying extra fiber optic cable during their installation at their own cost for future competitors or city use.
Oh, that turned it completely around.
Into a massive win-win. Or think of Lego embracing customer modifications to their software instead of shutting them down. They recognized the synergy, the value their fans brought.
Or the radio station weather contest that became a synergistic lottery, engaging everyone. So synergy isn't just a nice idea, it's a practical way to solve tough problems and build thriving teams.
If you truly seek first to understand Habit 5 and believe a better third alternative exists, you can achieve synergy.
Okay, that covers the public victories. Finally, we have Habit 7, sharpen the saw. Principles of balanced self-renewal.
This habit is really about preserving and enhancing your greatest asset.
Yourself.
Exactly. It's the single most powerful investment you can make, investing in you, the instrument through which you experience life and make your contribution.
It integrates all the other habits.
It does. It's about regularly renewing the 4 dimensions of your nature: physical, mental, spiritual, and social-emotional.
And the metaphor sharpen the saw comes from.
The story of the woodcutter sawing away furiously. Someone suggests he stop and sharpen his saw to work better. He replies, "I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing."
We all do that, don't we? Too busy doing to invest in our ability to do.
Right. Sharpening the saw is a quadrant 2 activity, vitally important, but rarely feels urgent, so it often gets neglected until we burn out or break down.
So how do we sharpen the saw in those 4 dimensions?
Okay, physical. Caring for your body, proper nutrition, adequate rest, regular exercise focusing on endurance, flexibility, and strength. Start slow, be wise, but be consistent.
Mental. Continuously educating and expanding your mind. Reading broadly good literature, biographies. Writing, perhaps keeping a journal. Organizing, planning. It helps you examine your own mental programs.
Third, spiritual. Connecting with your core values, finding meaning and purpose. This looks different for everyone. Maybe meditation, prayer, time in nature, scripture study, listening to inspiring music, service. It's about connecting to something larger than yourself. Remember the doctor prescribing writing worries on the sand?
Yeah, perspective. And fourth, social emotional. This is where you practice the public victory habits daily. Making deposits in emotional bank accounts, practicing empathic listening, habit 5, seeking synergy, habit 6, showing unconditional love, reflecting positivity, seeing the unseen potential in others, like Don Quixote saw in Dulcinea.
And all 4 are connected, right?
Always.
They need balanced, consistent investment. This isn't about adding more things to your plate necessarily, but integrating renewal into your life.
And this renewal creates an upward spiral.
Yes. As you learn, commit, and do on progressively higher levels across all the habits, integrated by Habit 7, you move upward in a spiral of continuous improvement and growth.
Can we really afford not to do this?
Honestly. Think of Lin-Manuel Miranda getting the idea for Hamilton while finally taking a vacation. Or Ariana Huffington pointing out how Alexander Hamilton's probable burnout cost him dearly. Renewal fuels creativity and endurance.
Stephen Covey's own practice of the daily private victory.
Meditating, reading, exercising early each morning. He recounts how that daily renewal literally saved a life once, allowing him to hear a faint cry for help while out running in Montana.
Wow. So even in our hyper-connected, busy world, we have to make time. Control technology, don't let it control you. Like that idea of a family data contract.
Yes. And ultimately, this whole process, this inside-out journey, empowers you to become a transition person. Meaning you can break negative cycles or scripts passed down through generations. If you came from a background of criticism or abuse, for example, you can choose to stop that pattern. You can choose to pass on affirmation, love, positive principles instead.
You give your descendants a different legacy.
Exactly. It comes back to that inside-out approach. Changing ourselves first has ripple effects. Covey turning a mundane family car trip into a treasured communication ritual with his wife Sandra is a beautiful, simple example of this. Creating positive patterns, giving your children roots and wings.
What a comprehensive framework. We've covered a lot from proactive choice and beginning with the end in mind, all the way through understanding, synergy, and continuous renewal.
It really is a fundamental shift, isn't it? Away from quick fixes and towards building character, changing paradigms, aligning with principles from the inside out.
Absolutely. Okay, to wrap up our deep dive today, here's a final provocative thought for you, our listener, to mull over.
Covey wrote something powerful towards the end of his life. He said, "The greatest identity theft is not when someone takes your wallet or steals your credit card. The greater theft happens when we forget who we really are, when we begin to believe that our worth and identity come from how well we stack up compared to others, instead of recognizing that each of us has immeasurable worth and potential."